All right, everyone, if you're seeing us on live, all the buttons are being pushed, so hang on a second as we connect and go. Okay, it looks like we're good to go. We're going live. I'm going to push the record button. Record.
Woohoo!
Hello, 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 everyone. Buttons are pushed. We're live, at least as far as I can tell. Welcome, welcome. We are on episode 15 of Holistic Health Happy Hour. And I couldn't do it without my lovely co-hostess, Maria Schumacher. Tell us about yourself, and then I'll pop in and tell everybody about me.
My Julie. Aw. Hi, I'm Maria Schumacher. I have a website called Venus-13, venus-13.com. I am a sidereal true sky constellational astrologer. I am a Wiccan priestess. I am an interior designer by day. And I loves me some astrology. And this is what I do. I write a daily astro blog where I post a chart of what the stars are doing every day and a little blurb to go along with it so we always know what's happening. Um,
And
Look
you
me up on Facebook and
yeah.
yeah, find me at venus13.com. You can write me at Vianne, Vianne at venus-13.com. I really can't talk. It's just bleh.
Moving
So
on,
that's
expression.
me. And I could not do this. 15 episodes. I'm so proud of us here.
Yeah, it's amazing. And you know what? We're doing it for fun. And
Yeah,
that's the whole thing. It's like as if we had a little Astro Cafe. You could drop in and have a chat with us. We're not slick. We're not Hollywood. We're just here to have a chat about the new moon cycle
that's
here.
it.
So,
For sure.
and I'm going to tag off what you said about your dailies. It's not just a little blurb. Maria has a beautiful way of telling the story of the stars, and I really mean that. It's a beautiful narrative. She brings all of this energy to life as if you're reading a story. And I'm going to talk about what we talked about in the green room about your Patreon subscription and why it is an
Oh,
advantage
that's
to
right. Yeah.
subscribe. Tell us why. Tell us why, based on what we said about the dailies. I think it's
I am
important.
complete rubbish at self-promotion. I'm getting better though. But so I do have
Express
a
myself.
Patreon page. I do have a Patreon page. It is Maria's Daily Charts, Marias Daily Charts. Where if you value my work and you want to support it, you can pay. It's like $3 a month is the nominal, is the base fee. It's affordable. But the benefit of it is that you don't have to scroll through Facebook. They get delivered to your inbox every month. Once in a while, I do little special things just for my patron, but mostly it's all right there. If you ever need to refer back to a special day, like, I want to see what was happening on my birthday last year. I want to see what was happening the day I got that new job. I want to see what was happening, yada, yada, yada last year
Last full moon.
last full moon, right? It's all right there in Patreon. You don't have to search for it, you don't have to scroll for it. It keeps it right there. So
It's like
that
a
is
it's like a constellational ephemeris. That's what we were just talking about.
yeah, for looking back for sure. You can see
Yeah,
what was where when. Mhm.
yeah, exactly. So keep plugging away. Leo self-expression. Express thyself, my friend. Uh,
Rrrr.
yeah, I can't do that as well. And I'm Julie Sherwood, your Best Hopes Wellness Coaching. And part of wellness to me is knowing your story. And I do the same as Maria. I use constellational astrology to help you understand what the cosmic blueprint is just for you, the day and time and where you were born. How do you understand the energy potentials that have been encoded in you? And some of the ways I do that is through solution focused wellness coaching, Reiki, and I'm also a root cause therapy practitioner where I can help you understand what's blocking your way to realizing the true potential that has been given to you by the stars. So, yourbesthopeswc.com. And for those of you who might be local in the Tucson area, I'm going to be teaching an Astro 101 course, constellationally based here in my little town. So keep an eye out for that. And if you're local, I would love to have you. It's limited to 10 people, so it's going to go quick. Uh, so the stars will tell me. Anyway, all right, my dear friend, what do we have on tap for our Leo new moon as we slowly coast into eclipse season?
Leo, yes, Leo, Leo, yes, friends. This new moon will actually be in the constellation of Leo.
Leo, yes,
Yes,
Virgo,
not Virgo. In no way Virgo. It's still in Leo. You gotta wait for Virgo. We're not there yet. So, yeah, now that we've had that little moment, um, shall
as
I
you,
share the screen? Let's
yeah,
share it.
yeah,
Okay.
as you pull that up, I just, for those of you who may be fairly new to constellational astrology or true sidereal or 13 sign, Maria and I use the stars as they appear in the sky. And
Mhm.
that's not to disparage tropical or 12 equal sign sidereal. They have their place, they have their moment. However, we want to just literally bring in the energy of the stars. And the only way you can do that in a true connected way is to actually use the sky. So as Maria pulls up the chart here, you'll see on the outer colored wheel, they're all different sizes. And that replicates how the constellations appear in the sky.
Yep.
So show us where
Yep.
our beautiful new moon happens to be hanging out.
Yes.
And I
So,
can help by doing some drawing too.
ha, if we were able to see the stars with the sun still up, we would be able to see that the sun is in the constellation of Leo. See, right there, sun and moon are conjoined at 26 degrees of Leo. And the little blue mark is right there because the moon is passing in front of the sun, so her little blue mark takes precedence. Da-da, da-da-da-da-da. So it looks like we're looking at Vesta, but we're really looking at the moon sun conjunction. There it is, right here.
Right there. Yep.
Yep,
And
yep,
it's kind of hard because we got a lot of real estate going on in this area, but if you just look for the tick mark that matches the color of the planet, then you can see where
yeah,
it's hanging out.
yep.
So, anywho's,
So what's interesting about this new moon? Well, for one thing, it's directly across from Saturn, as you see. So we've got the new moon in Leo opposite Saturn in Aquarius. Why is that cool? Because Saturn retrograde in Aquarius is has been asking us to revisit some structures that we're building on for the future, right? As and I think we all sort of feel that energy around right now that stuff that isn't so solid, a lot of things don't feel solid anymore because all of our structures are being tested for integrity and stability, and are they going to be able to support us into the future? Aquarius, right? It needs us to think about these things. So retrograde planets want us to go revisit those things. So we
reflect.
did a little, yep, we did a little bit of building earlier in the year, did a little bit of building last year, and now we're asking to rebuild that. So opposite is Leo. Leo is very much about the self, right? It wants us to have a look at ourselves, it wants us to express ourselves, and it wants us to be bold and strong and truthful as we go forward. Saturn retrograde in Aquarius asks us to balance that with what is needed for the greater collect, for the success of all in the future. So how can the individual, as we come into our own sovereignty and express ourselves with heart and genuineness and truth and bravery,
Right,
support a future that is supportive of everyone?
right, right. And again, the oppositions, it's like a tension, like a band, right? And if that band pulls too far, it's going to snap. If it is too loose, it just is lax. So the idea is you want to make sure that this expressive self of Leo isn't so much me that the other side gets pulled too far. So it's the me authentically me as I step into the greater community, because the authentic me can resonate better in the community. If we all did that, I always go back to the note being in harmony. If we all played our authentic note, we would have a true symphony in harmony. So
But
you
you still
really
have to
have to.
tune up. Yeah, even with
Yes.
you doing a symphony, you still have to tune to each other, even if
Yes.
you're playing your individual parts.
Right. And imbalance again, you know? So you know, this is good because the idea of a symphony, oftentimes there are solos, oftentimes there are melodic lines that need to be heard, but in the end, there has to be a balance for the entire operatic work to have its resonance. And I know my musically inclined friend will understand that. So,
Yeah, I do.
um,
I do. I tend to talk in musical
yeah.
metaphor a lot.
And it's so important. And that Saturn retrograde is how are you going to build these foundations, revisit, revise, recreate, re-evaluate how you're going to build these foundational structures where the self can be authentic but also be in tune with other. And I think the other one that's playing into that, which we've talked about, you know, kind of ad nauseum, is good old Mr. Pluto over here, hanging out in
Hmm.
retrograde, right on the cusp of Sagittarius, getting ready to go back into Capricorn, where Saturn likes to have his home stars. You know, we're trying not to use the word ruler. It's the Lord
Yes.
or the dispositor is the astrological term. But Saturn is at home in Capricorn. So, you know, there's a conversation that can be held there too. So,
Yeah.
anyway, I digress. I express and I digress.
I express it how you. That is how we do. We express and we digress. Y'all don't
Yes.
even know. So here's, so here we are. New moon in Leo opposite Saturn. Another interesting feature of this new moon is that at the same time, we've got Mercury newly direct in Leo in a grand trine with Chiron and Eris and the galactic center. Now this is interesting because Mercury is moving slow right now to our eye. We usually think of him as a fast mover, but because he's just stationed and starting to move the other way, he's moving slow. So this grand trine is with us for a while. You know,
Right.
it's lasting because Mercury is moving so slow. And a great feature of this is that kind of healing possibility of Chiron and Eris over here in Pisces, right?
Yep.
Chiron and Eris over here in Pisces talking about, dredging up some really old wounds
Mm-hmm.
that it's time that we saw them. In trine with Mercury over here in Leo, who is about self-expression, right? On a self-expression. So we've got some old wounds regarding self-expression that now, and we're using our strong and independent voice to express the hurt. This is like the kind of the we're not going to take it anymore.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I don't like this anymore. I don't like myself about this. I don't like that it happened. To express. In trying to think Galactic Center, that just gives us all those downloads about new ways to heal it. The Galactic Center at the edge of a fucus there is a very, very deeply healing place. It's also the center of spin, right? Everything that is has come from there as far as we're concerned. Everything in our galaxy originates from that place. So we've got access through there to everything that was and the potential for everything that can come, because that's where all the data comes from.
The cosmic gateway is what I keep having in
Yes.
my head. It's the
Yes.
cosmic gateway that allows us, you know, the other thing about Mercury is what are we learning from this? We're collecting the data, but what do we learn from this within ourselves? Because in Leo, it's all about self, right? Again, what am I learning about myself so that I can understand the wounds of all? Because Pisces, Chiron and Pisces is that that energy and suffering of everyone. I take on
Yeah,
everybody's
that's
pain.
true. Yeah, it's not
You
just
know?
individual. This is a deeply collective
Mm,
moment with
yeah.
Chiron and Eris in Pisces over there, the collective deep wound, right, Julie?
Yeah, and I think one of the ways that we can talk about how we use this energy, and Maria and I were chatting about this week, is this concept of physical body through the brain and gut health, like instinctive gut, like gut instinct, that
Mhm.
intuitive hit where you go, I just know something's not right here. And how do we connect that brain to the gut? And so we want to go back to the holistic side of things. Now, mind you, we are not healthcare providers, physicians, nurses. So anything you take from here is at your own discretion and risk, and you get advice from your own healthcare providers. It is meant purely for your own individual information, nothing else. So there's our little disclaimer. But we want to talk about if your natal moon is, say, in Aries, what physical body parts are involved with that? I'll talk about that, and then Maria can tag in on what can you use intuitively to understand how to express yourself as an Aries moon who may be compromised physically a little bit with your head or your face or your brain, for example.
Yeah. And I just want to go back for just a second to
Yeah,
get this
please.
astrologically, let's get us here to how did we get to gut brain from that? So
Yes.
it's that combination of Pisces and Leo, right? That intuition, the Pisces with again, the the dreamy side, the intuitive side, the sensing, the feeling, the behind the veil. With Leo, that is very shiny and out there, and Mercury, that's all in the head, right? Mercury is thoughts, thinking, the brain impressions. But when we've got Leo and Pisces here, we want to be less in the brain and more into a body. Leo's about a body, right? Let's face it, even though it's not an earth sign, it's a fire sign. It's also, its mascot is an apex predator. We've got to have the gut instinct.
Yes.
Is an animal that relies on instinct, perhaps even more than intellect,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So, so,
Beautifully stated.
and yeah, and so that combination of Mercury and Leo and Pisces and Chiron and Eris and Neptune, who has been big in this, but we'll talk about Neptune a little bit. Um, is very much speaking to us of getting your gut brain back online. Using
Mm-hmm.
that as your guide star to help you stay true to your most authentic self, which is also what Leo is about. Your being true to your most authentic self. So that's how we got to the gut.
Well, and the interesting thing too is I was just noticing, maybe just coming a little late to the party, because, Mercury is in shadow still, post shadow of going direct. So we still got a few more, I think till the 12th, where we're going to start feeling that, Mercury kind of just coming in with all of it. But what I noticed is all of the outer planets or transpersonal planets plus interpersonal planet Saturn are all retrograde right now. The only ones that are direct, aside from Jupiter, are all the personal planets.
Yep.
So, man, we got some momentum building, and it really is about the self right now. But yet, taking that reflective moment before you go running out there like the lion in the jungle, take that minute to go, is this the right thing to do? Do I feel like it's good? What does my gut tell me? Get that third eye opened up.
Yeah. Your gut, your third eye, your senses, your
Yes,
gut brain can respond to a situation much faster than your brain can. You can't think your way through everything.
right.
A lot of times you just have to know in your gut. And again, right now, all right, let's talk about Neptune. So we've got Neptune in Pisces retrograde directly across from Venus,
Venus.
who's with the south node. Okay. So Mer Neptune is coming close to our north node, and Venus is with our south node. So what does that mean? That means that there's going to be a lot of pull, I think, on our attention. Venus in Virgo is pragmatic and practical. So that South Node with her speaks to us about the kind of things that we've held on to,
Mm-hmm.
the
Especially
kind
with
of
our values.
exactly the kind of things that we have valued. And
Mm-hmm.
then I'm doing post tense here. And Neptune near the North Node is going to speak to us, I think, about a little bit about what we're afraid of in the future, because there's that illusory fear factor that Neptune is sort of involved with. And so we're sort of being asked, because of the retrograde of Neptune over there, to look at, all right, look, what have we held on to that maybe we don't need to hold on to? And what are we afraid of in the future that maybe we don't need to be afraid of? And there's going to be a lot of things vying for our attention as Mercury moves direct through Leo
Mm-hmm.
over the next few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And his connection to media and communicating and expressing, there's going to be a lot of things vying for our brain attention.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Neptune is also one that calls us to dissolve what no longer works.
Yes.
So
Yes.
there's a dissolution process. So, and it's really interesting being opposite the South Node. What do we have in our past lives, past history, generations, ancestry, however that resonates with you, that we can dissolve, that no longer serves Virgo, our
That
value
is no longer
Venus.
of value,
Yep.
Venus. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And bring forward from that intuitive place of Pisces for the future.
Yeah.
Dissolve all the crap. Let go what no longer serves you and what your gut tells you is no longer relevant.
Yeah.
I think that's huge. I think that's
Yeah, I
huge.
do too. So I completely agree. So that's how astrologically we got to gut brain.
There you go. All right, my friends, for those of you who happen to have a natal moon in Aries, here's Aries if you're not familiar with the glyphs. And if you need a chart calculation, just hit us up. We'll get you set up. But at any rate, if you are somebody with a natal moon in Aries, the body parts that are correlating to that are your head, your face, your brain, your blood. So that's the physical part of it. If you feel like something's not quite right in those areas, then it's time for you to connect to that gut instinct and figure out maybe there's something about that part of your body that's telling you something and you need to express it. So what might be some ways that you could express or use your intuition to guide you to something along the lines of an Aries body? Your head, your face, your brain. What do you think, Maria? What's
No.
what's intuitively coming to you?
Well, again, step one, if you want to connect with your gut, then you have to kind of clear out anything that is distracting your gut. So here's the thing about gut brains and holistic medicine. When you start seeing the body as a whole system, then stuff that we would have thought of symptoms of illness before are now feedback. Like
Yes.
I don't necessarily have to worry about the fact that I have a stomach ache. I have to notice that I have a stomach ache
Yes.
and ask myself what that's telling me.
Mm-hmm.
Because maybe the stomach ache is giving me some super valuable feedback, like, you're lactose intolerant, really. You can't have that ice cream. Or those tomatoes really had gone off. Maybe next time don't eat.
Mm-hmm.
So if we just take any sort of physical pain or discomfort or abnormality as only symptoms and mask them, we're missing their feedback. And so I think Aries is a brilliant place to start because it's sort of like square one.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, and so, once again, a way that somebody might get more in tune if you have an Aries moon is just by step one. Okay, I'm noticing something.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Clear your
just,
head.
yeah, clear your head. But we've also got the head and the blood,
Yes.
right? So you guys might benefit most of all from an actual physical cleanse.
Yeah.
Everybody would benefit from a physical cleanse. So this is like step one, get your system as clear as it can, flush out toxins that may be circulating around in your blood, because
Hmm.
that will affect the interface between your head and your gut.
Hmm.
If your blood is circulating junk around your body,
Right. Well, and consider the fact that the moon is in Leo, fire sign, and Aries is a fire sign. You might be a little too hot.
mhm,
So you might want to think of ways to cool all of that. So
drink
like
more
your head,
water is a wonderful way, yeah, to
yeah.
cool you down, to clear your blood, to clear your system. So Aries moons might want to literally just drink more water
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
to get
And
back into it.
what also came to mind is the term, when people get angry, their blood is boiling. So
Uh,
again, Leo may incite a little bit of that anger, which gets your blood boiling physically and probably literally to some degree. So temper that. Use your intuition to say, does it suit me to get angry and express myself from that point of view to where my blood boils? See, that's that using that gut. I can express myself, but let me temper the emotion for a moment here, and then I'll have the conversation, you know. So that's another way to do it. Okay, Taurus moons. So Taurus, you guys are right here. I'm a Taurus moon. We're all about being connected to our senses and making sure we got everything in the cupboard that we need. We got food, we got clothes, we got a house, and all of that. And for the body parts that are connected, it's your neck, your throat, your cervical vertebrae, back of your neck, and your thyroid, and your voice. And for me, if I don't feel safe or I don't feel like everything is stable, I'm going to be so focused on that I can't speak up. I can't express myself. It shuts me down. So, what are some ways that I might be able to tune up my voice knowing that I'm a Taurus moon? What do you think, my friend?
be able to speak up. Well, I think that the Taurus moons this go round are going to want to literally ground. That you're going to want to enhance that connection to feeling secure by securing yourself to the earth. That is going to mean, I think, almost more than yeah, earth signs here are really going to want to unplug. Says the women coming at you through the computer, right? I get that. But you're gonna literally want to unplug more and ground more. And by ground, I think again, earth signs are gonna want to get dirty
Yep.
this time. Like sit in the ground, can have something literally connected to the literal earth. A lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you can't get your fingers in the dirt, ironically, I just planted all my fall garden yesterday. So how perfect was that?
Mhm.
Think about eating root vegetables. Eat your carrots, eat your beets, eat your turnips, eat your, whatever.
Potatoes. Yeah.
So potatoes, yeah, whatever comes up from the earth as a root or a buried in the ground kind of plant. That may be another way that you can connect to that and allow for the healing of the throat neck area.
Yeah. That throat neck area also connects to is also the fifth chakra, which has to do with those intuitive senses,
Hmm.
right? So your voice, what you express is just going to be cleaner when it's coming from that secure grounded place.
Mm. Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep, the voice
Um,
comes up through
mhm.
from the earth up. The other thing too is practice sitting in the car singing to the radio, where if you're, one that doesn't like to get out there and sing, just or sing in the shower, or just get that voice moving. That's one of your senses, right? Just listen to yourself as you speak and tune up your voice in a way that connects you to your ability to express. So, all right, Geminis. Gemini moons. Well, of course, we have Mercury in Leo coming up to the new. Well, he won't quite make it to the new moon, but he's in the same stars as the new moon, and he is the dispositor of Gemini. So, Gemini, because it's the twins, it's often the two body, the bilateral body parts, the shoulders, the arms, lungs, fingers, hands, that kind of thing. So this would be something where you need to start moving that stuff. It maybe I'm half Italian. I express myself with my hands. So maybe that's another way I can be expressive is just using the movement of my body. Tai Chi, yoga. What are some of the other things you might think of?
Uh, Tai Chi and yoga are great. Any kind of dance,
Mhm.
really. Uh, uh, again, it's about getting out of the head because Gemini can really be way too much in the head, way too much in the head, and coming back down into the body. So for this one, Gemini, I think also just because it is a brain, like Taurus wanted to be literally grounded. Gemini also wants to coordinate its hemispheres of the brain, right? So
Yes.
I think that if you tend to be somebody who is all logic and all, data, 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 you may want to practice just some expressive creativity.
Mm-hmm.
You
You know
know,
what I was thinking was finger painting.
yeah,
Just
something like that. Some physical art form might be very good for a Gemini right now to try to coordinate those two hemispheres.
hmm the other thing too is maybe consider if you're a right-handed person, use your left hand a little bit more. If you're a left-handed person, use your right hand a little bit more, and just see how that feels. Try it, and that is that cross hemisphere balance too.
Mhm, mhm.
All right, my Gemini friends, let's go talk to your Cancerian friends. And the moon is the dispositor of Cancer, and that area of the body tends to be your digestive area and female reproduction, so uterus, ovaries, that kind of thing. So um, I think that's just an internal reflection. Tune into, we were talking earlier, if I ate something that doesn't quite, no, I don't think so. But if
Yeah,
you
I
approach,
think so too. I
yeah,
think that cancer moons are really going to want to do a cleanse this time too. They're going to want to really make sure that their body is clear, that food is going to be their medicine this time, and that what they're taking, they're probably going to want to pay a lot of attention to how what you take into your body reacts with your body. What kind of feedback are you really getting from that 20-piece nuggets?
yeah. Well, and
Right?
the other thing I was thinking about, again, Leo, the expressor of the self, one way you can express yourself with the food is express gratitude for it,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Just saying
good.
thank you to Mother Earth, divine creator of all that is. Thank you for bringing all of this wonderful food to my table to nourish my body. And then tune into yourself. You can use all different ways, muscle testing, pendulums, whatever works for you. You see, you've got a choice between A and B. Which one does your body really need? Not
Mhm.
the 20-piece nugget that, the little kid wants, but what does your body, what do I need to feel good today? How can I use food as an expression of my well-being and health?
Yeah.
So,
What am I really, really wanting? Yeah.
yeah.
So that's kind of what I think for cancer is just pay more attention to how the feedback you're getting from your physical body. Yeah.
And is your body expressing to you when you need to eat? Just because the clock says 5 p.m. doesn't necessarily mean your body's ready for dinner. Maybe you're one that does better at 8 o'clock. Maybe you're one that does better at 4 o'clock, or not o'clock at all.
Well,
Hey,
and cancers are also going to want to be aware of how much emotion is playing into this. You know, are
bingo.
are you when do certain emotions trigger hunger? Do certain emotions trigger starvation, right?
Right.
The need to deprive yourself. How are your emotions connecting to
hmm
food? Are you getting direct feedback from your body, or is there sort of like an emotional
Hunger.
disconnect?
hmm
Yep.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that's a good thing to really notice is how emotions are weighing into the choices that you're making for your body.
Yeah, yeah. Leo moons, of course, this is going to be your lunar return, if you will, for some people, depending on the placement of your natal moon in the chart. But Leo, it's about your spine, your thoracic vertebrae, so your lower, like below your neck, and the heart. Regulus, the heart of the lion. So how do you express yourself from the heart? Do you connect into that heart space? Is your heart beating too fast, rapidly, palpitations? Let that tell you if something doesn't feel right. Or are you calm? What else? What else do you think?
Well, I think that the Leo moons are just going to have to express themselves, right? Resistance is futile. If there's something in you that wants to come out, find a way to let it out. Leos may want to notice how difficult that is for them. You know,
Mhm.
are you, is it easy for you to freely express yourself? Or do you have some real problems with that? And that will be good to know, but it is going to be all about allowing what's inside you to come out, and then maybe getting your gut body feedback
Mhm.
um, about what holds you back from that self-expression, right?
And the thoracic spine area, that upper back area, does it feel pained? Do you feel like you're carrying too much? Do you feel like things are being back broken in your, do you
Right.
feel like you're carrying all this emotion and you haven't been able to express it? You Leo people, you gotta let that stuff out. And
Hmm.
then you'll probably find that your upper back can just relax and not feel so tight and tense all the time. Listen to that. It's telling you something.
Yeah.
So, all right. My Virgo people. Here's our little Virgo people. We got probably a lot of people with Virgo because, again, Virgo's a
The
huge
big sign.
constellation. It's pretty darn big. And traditionally, we've had side conversations. Stay tuned, we'll have more. Traditionally, Mercury is the dispositor of Virgo. But we've got some feelings about that. Just keep that in the back of your mind. But it's all about your health, right, in general. But the abdomen, small intestine, solar plexus, and your nerves. The solar plexus, to me, that's like your power center, right? Solar, sun.
Guys, I'm so sorry. I'm going to need to be right back. I will be back in just a second. Julie, hang tight with people.
No worries. I will keep it going. But your solar plexus is your power center. This is the I am able. And oftentimes when we feel disempowered, we tend to fold in on ourselves. And then that closes down that energy of the solar plexus. So when you get into a situation where you're trying to express yourself, but you feel disempowered, take that moment to check in why that may be. Is it that you're expressing yourself with somebody who shuts your power down? Is it that you're trying to say something that may not feel true or authentic to who you are? You're just going along to get along, but it still disempowers you. So tune into that center right there, deep in that solar plexus, and ask yourself, is this something that I can feel self-empowered to say or express myself with? And again, it goes back to that gut instinct. That small intestine is that first area after you've taken in food. And so you want to be sure that you're doing these things in a way where your emotions are being digested healthfully. Or you may notice that there are issues in that area of the small intestine. Go inside, envision the nutrition going through your body and feel into, does it feel good? And use that instinct to navigate all of that. So um, let's go on to our Libra moons. So Libra again is a sign of balance, right? You've got the scales, either side, being in balance. So this also is a dual system. So it would be your kidneys, your ureters. This also can be in charge of ovaries, not just the Cancer stars, but Libra can also uh, be involved with that as well. So, and the small of your back. So kind of like above your sacroiliac joint. So again, two joints right there. And if they're not in balance, then you don't have the ability to carry things in a way that the smaller your back, I mean, a lot of people, the smaller your back is where you carry a lot of pain. And there's a reason for that. Are things in balance for you? And or is everything so backbreaking that when you try to express yourself that it just is hurting? So my dear friend who just returned has a Libra moon. How would you express from, so again, I was mentioning small of the back, kidneys, ureters, bladder, ovaries for women. So this is the area of the physical body. So what do you think? How?
Libra moons need to ground. I am going to say that unequivocally. I as much as Taurus moons need to ground, Libra moons are going to need to ground more. And what that means specifically is we need to make that individual connection to the earth so that we do not lose sight of ourselves. Libra moons can very easily feel like, you know, they're split apart all of the time.
Mhm.
And it's sometimes hard for Libra moons to see, to know where they end and other people begin. And a grounding practice that strengthens that root chakra and that second chakra, right down there where all those parts be, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Is really going to be what you need to kind of keep your act together. Um,
Well, and you can
so
tend to,
that what you're expressing is actually you, right? And so that
right.
what you're sensing is actually you. And it's like, okay, this this gut ache, this stomach ache, this whatever I'm feeling, these aches in my hands, is that something that's me or am I reacting to somebody else's energy? So that's, yeah,
Well,
that's
Libra
my
moons can tend to take on the emotions of others too. You want to balance. Is my emotion in balance with what's coming at me, or am I overreacting? Now, I don't want to disparage people to not express their emotions because that's the last thing you want to do is stuff it down. But it's
right.
that instinctive check. Is how I'm reacting really in alignment with what's really going on, or is there something else underneath all of this? Kidneys are a filtration system.
Mhm.
Am I filtering through my
Mhm.
emotions to react in an appropriate way, to express myself, Leo, in a way that is in balance, Libra, with what's going on?
Yeah, and if you have a grounding practice that allows you to, almost use the earth as a big old filter, right? To
Mhm.
filter out what you don't need and to bring back up what you do, yeah, it will really help, trust me.
Well, and also oftentimes the overreactive emotions that are not in alignment with what's really going on is based on fear. You don't feel safe. Root chakra. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, our Scorpio moon friends. So, our scorpionic people, large intestines, also bladder, sweat glands, and reproductive organs. So, again, if you're starting to feel something's going on in this area of your body, tune into that. What's it telling ya?
Mhm.
Definitely, especially large intestine. I think that's a huge one.
Especially like, but Scorpios, unlike, well, I shouldn't say that. Libra can tend to benefit from more grounding, a little slower movement. Scorpios need to move.
Oh, yeah.
You need a physical exercise, like, and I mean like hot, right? Like running, uh dancing, swimming, boxing. If
Something to make
it
you sweat.
Yes,
Sweat glands.
something exactly. You've got to keep moving. You got to keep stuff moving through you. Scorpio's a water sign, so it needs that movement, but there's also a lot of fire associated with it. So I think that you've got to be able to keep things moving. Otherwise, that steam builds up.
I'm thinking
And
infrared sauna or a
yeah,
steam room,
yeah,
things like that. A nice hot shower. Let the sweat come out. Let that body express through the sweat the emotions that may be trapped down in there. Express,
exactly.
Leo.
Mhm.
Sweat that shit out.
Right. And through the more movement, the better. I even think that a shower is too passive. Like I'm talking like boxing,
Hmm. Hmm.
jogging, aerobic workouts, dancing,
Get it on with your partner.
wild monkey sex. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Whatever allows you to express it out right through your body, that's going to feel so good to a Scorpio moon, and that
Hmm.
will help keep you balanced and together and in yourself if you can express through your body.
Yeah, absolutely. My Fukin friends, not too many of you probably, just because it's so tiny, just like Scorpio. But this is the one. I think the biggest thing here is being the cautious one to not take on the healing of everybody else. I come up to you, express through Leo that I need you, and then that tendency to want to help everyone because you are the healer, you're the emotional healer. You have to take care of you first. So, do I have the reserves to respond to my friend who's expressing him or herself in a way that I feel like I can help them? They're in pain, they're suffering, they're hurting, they're in an argument with their bestie, whatever it happens to be. A fucus, did you take care of you first? Fill that cup up before you offer it. That's one way. And so interestingly, most of the reference materials all about medical astrology or body astrology is, of course, tropical. So Maria and I chatted. I'm like, what would we ascribe to a fucus? And what came to me is the auric field. Now, granted, it's not like I can, slap at it and feel it, but
Mhm.
it is a physical energy that some people can see. And most of us, once we've cleared all the crazy, can sense. Your auric field can stretch very far, but generally you want to keep it at about arm's length for it to be healthy. So is your auric field sovereign to you? Or are you letting in energies or entities, whatever word resonates with you, that compromises that? So how do you tune up your auric field? What are some of the ways we can do that?
Well, by practices that feel by taking care of yourself. You tune up your auric field through self-care by making sure that you're bathing not just regularly, but in a way that makes you feel good about yourself. Like
Mhm.
I think that it can be very easy sometimes for Ophiucan moons to neglect their body because
Yes.
you're sort of out of it a lot of time. You spend just a lot of time out of your body because
Hmm.
you're in the ethers, you're in that healing realm, you're in that place just outside of reality.
Well, and your
Hold
aura
on,
can't
you
be
know?
healthy if your body's not healthy.
Right.
It can be scattered. It can have holes in it, right? You can stretch it out too far.
Mm.
And so you want to keep it sovereign to you. And one of the ways that I look at doing that is having certain mantras or rituals where I tell my aura what is allowed. I welcome in divine, loving, light, healing energy that I invite. Nothing else is allowed. That kind of thing. And that's
That's
important.
a good clearing, a good, yeah,
Hmm.
clearing mantra. You know who has good mantras is Lotus.
Oh,
If you
yes.
ever want a really good like space clearing, space and healing mantra, Lotus has some great ones.
Yep. Yep. She's one of our radical astrology family, star family.
Yeah.
That would be, yes. And again, we can throw our aura out too far. You know that sense when you walk into a room and it's like, ooh, the energy in here is tough. You feel that. You know that. And your auras bump up against each other. So pull it in a little bit if you need to. Feel into that. But you Afukins, you already do that.
Kind of, and you can tune it. You can decide, all right, I am going to radiate XYZ today. I
Yep.
want to radiate confidence right now. I want to radiate self-sufficiency right now. I want
Hmm.
to radiate calm
Yeah.
right now because I'm about to go into a shit show and there needs to be some calm, right? So yeah, a few can do that. They can, I think, easier than any other moon, they can respond to the energy in a
Yes.
room and retune themselves accordingly. But to
Right.
have the energy to do that, you have to take very good care of your body, and Ophukins can forget about that. So
Yeah.
let's take
We're
care of
reminding,
that body, Ophiuchus.
we're reminding.
Pamper yourself.
Yes. All right, my Sag people. So again, here's our little Sagittarian part of the world. Your tush, your thighs, your hips, your sciatic nerve, coordination.
Mhm.
So you got to tune into all of that. Sciatic, you hear everybody, not everybody, a lot of people talking about sciatica. Your body is telling you something. What are you not hearing? This also self-expression is also the body expressing itself to you.
Yeah.
So, if something is getting on your last nerve, are you able to say something about it? Are you able to, look, I've just about had enough with this. I've been putting up with this for X whatever. It's time for me to say something about it in a kind, loving way. But if your body's doing this, there's something there. You cannot ignore it.
Mhm.
And another one's doing more shout outs to our star family, Verone. She's awesome at helping you tune into your body. What is your body
Yes.
telling you?
Yeah.
What's going on in there?
Yes.
I've had pain in my hip for this long. Why? Go inside and say, okay, hip, what is going on? What am I not seeing? What am I not hearing? What are you trying to express to me? What's not in balance? Right? Anything else about Sag?
Sag,
Fire.
I think could also benefit from cleanse, right? Like drink a lot of water. Yep,
And
a lot of water, even a little more water. Teas I'm getting with Sagittarius too. Like
mm-hmm.
I think
Cold
Sagittarius
cleanse.
might have fun. The Sagittarius moon might have a lot of fun sort of prescribing teas for itself. Like, okay, this is going on. Which herbal tea would really benefit this right now? And that I think the Sagittarius mind would dig that. But again, using the liquids to sort of calm the fire, and nerves can be inflammation,
Yes.
right? So and also sort of liquid movement things. Like I think Tai Chi
Mm.
is very good for Sagittarians. Or
Mm-hmm.
I saw literally ice skating, you know,
Mm.
that kind of thing. Anything that involves fluid, probably swimming
Yeah, that's what
is
I was thinking.
really great for Sagittarians. Anything that involves fluidity
Mm-hmm.
and flow. And
Mm-hmm.
as much as you can keep things moving through your body, then you're able to connect to it more with the flow. So
Well, and the playfulness of Leo might invite some fun. I was just thinking, if your hip is bugging you, drink some rose hip tea. See how that sits with you.
yeah,
Play around
exactly.
with it.
Exactly. Yes.
Play
It's
around with it.
Sagittarius likes to experiment that way.
It's
I
sure.
think they would have some fun experimenting with different little remedies for themselves.
Yeah.
Teas. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, using your intuition to guide you into it. Muscle test, pendulum, sway test, whatever it is, if you have, or just intuitively, body, is this in my highest and greatest interest to help with my hip pain today? Should I drink some rose hip tea? How do I feel? Whatever the first thing is that comes to you, that's your answer, right? Again, disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. We are not practitioners, but trust yourself, right? And or ask the question of your practitioner. I keep getting this hit to try this. What do you think? So. Okay, our Capricornian friends, you're all about structures.
Yep.
Um, Skin, skeleton, knees, joints, teeth, ligaments. Yeah, it's all about the physical structure. If it hurts, it's probably in a joint somewhere. Why? Are you not moving? Are you rigid?
I. Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
yep.
Mm-hmm.
That Leo moon is saying you got to start expressing yourself. Don't hold it back.
That's
Capricorn moons are like, yeah, I don't think so.
mhm. They want that. They need that stability and security. But getting them out of a comfort zone to keep things moving, you
Hmm.
know, is is often tough. But it does have to be said that the muscles and the veins feed the bones. You know,
Yes.
you keep those structures healthy by allowing things to circulate through your body, by keeping things moving. So,
And connectivity is what's coming to me. Emotional. So all of these joints and these body parts, the bones, they need the connective tissue, right? The ligaments, the tendons, and all of that. Are you holding your emotions back in your expression in such a way that you don't feel connected to people?
well, that's, just like Taurus needs to connect to the earth by grounding, Capricorn, I think, needs to connect to other people. It's got
Mhm.
that association with the 10th house that
Yes,
is community. It
social.
needs to allow itself to open up, needs to
Yes.
allow itself to connect, to express, and with other people. It can't just express to the air, right? It has to express, it has to be in connection
Yep. You know
to
what came to my
others.
mind on that one is shamanic drumming.
Ah,
Because you're physically moving the body and there's a structural beat to it and you do it in a circle. Shout out to my friend Melody who's online.
yeah,
You our friend Melody, not just mine. Maria knows Melody.
I do.
But that connection to that rhythmic pulsation can open up the emotions, but you do it in a circle with others, then you have that emotional flow with each other too.
Hmm.
There's a resonance there, and it's a way to express. So,
Hmm.
and get the joints moving, getting the body moving.
I completely agree. So you and might even want to join like an exercise class.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, a lot of these other exercises for the other moons can be done, by yourself or alone, but Capricorn moons might want to get into a class. You might want to have like some structure in your class where there's somebody guiding you through the motions and other people doing them with you that you can, bounce off of and compare with. So yeah,
And move it. Zumba is kind of what came to my mind too. That's very Leo, expressive, but yet you're moving the body in a structured, formulaic dance way,
yep,
choreographed
yep.
way. So, okay, we're getting down to the wire here. We got some Aquarius stuff going on. And our Aquarians, it's all about conductivity, I can guarantee you. Impulses, circulation, nerve, but also your ankles and calves.
Hmm.
I'm kind of getting more the electrical and circulatory stuff, your nerves. Like if your nervous system is all dysregulated because your emotions are way off track because you're trying to get it out, that's a problem. So, how can you bring it down? What do you do to calm it down?
You know, I feel like a lot of my Aquarian moon people might, if you're a smoker and an Aquarius, you want to quit smoking. Like you really want to quit smoking right now. I think that almost for more than any of them, because you've got that connection to the nervous system. And if your system is sending too many signals to you, you're going to get fried. So it feels like it's more important than almost any of the other sense to get that body clean. You might fast. Like seriously, this might be a good time for you to do some fasting, do some hardcore cleansing, uh, work on releasing an addiction. And I know you'd think we'd talk about that with Pisces, but I feel like this is more important for my Aquarians right now.
And you know what addiction comes to my mind? Technology. Yes, stay
Yeah,
here for a few more minutes, but
I
but
know.
are you doing the doom scroll? Are you constantly distracting yourself because you have to see what everybody else is doing on social media? Are you addicted to the likes and the
Yeah.
followers?
Or are you getting all of your information from the screen and not connecting into your physical body at all?
There it is.
Do you ground? Do you pay attention to your body? Or do you sort of shut it down with addictions
Hmm.
because it all is too much for you?
Well, and Aquarius is all about technology too, right?
It
Are you
is.
using
It is.
only technology to govern how you feel?
That's right.
What your body's telling you? Do you go to, Mr. Google all the time? Do you go to your wearable on your arm? Do you go? We have so many things out there now that tell us what we need that we don't tune in to ask ourselves. Aquarians really tune into the messaging, the transmission that your nervous system is telling you.
Yes. Yeah. Instead of trying to dumb your nervous system down or shut your nervous system down or mask it or silence it, because I think for a lot of Aquarians, they get so much internal feedback, it's hard for them to take it. It's very hard for an Aquarian moon to stay in themselves because they're just overloaded, right?
Yep.
And
And there's,
so, yeah.
I was going to say, there's a lot of spontaneity connected to Aquarius, especially with Uncle Dave Uranus.
Yep.
Freedom, freedom. I just need to get out. I just need to get out. I'm overwhelmed. I need to get out.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I
get
need to
out.
escape. I need to escape. I need to
Yes.
get out. So, yeah, a cleanse, and I hate to say it in this year, but almost something drastic. Like it's so funny because we tapped into Aquarian moon, and all of a sudden I'm like, now these guys need to do something drastic because they've got to get back to connecting to their bodies because a lot of them don't know how anymore.
And I think I'll suggest along the lines again, take a social media break for a week.
Yeah.
If a week sounds like too much, try a day. Try the 2, 3 days during the new moon cycle. Just take a break. Go get your fingers into the finger paints in the garden and just sit with your body for a while. Just quietly. Turn the music off. Turn all the distractions off that technology brings you,
Mhm.
and see what happens. See what you might discover. Get a piece of
Let
paper and a pen again.
let yourself really feel.
Yep.
Lean into the discomfort that comes through your body when that happens and just listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just okay, body, I'm going to face you,
Yep.
and you and I are going to get on speaking terms.
Yep. Yep. All right, our last group of stars are Piscean moons. Actually, they're probably the most intuitively connected to their bodies, unless they're out in the ozone layer somewhere.
Yeah, I like you say, the Pisces moons are going to sort of have the easiest time of all this because they are able to, they're using that gut brain already.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
and fortunately, Pisces is a great big sign, so there's lots of y'all out there who are already gonna. So, Pisces, give classes to the Aquarians because they need some help.
Well, in Pisces, one of the biggest body parts that goes with that is your feet and your toes. So Pisces can be, off over here somewhere. Hey, get your feet on the ground. Pisces,
Yeah.
come on, come on,
Yep.
put your little feetsies back on the ground there.
So,
Then
like
go.
simple walking,
Yep.
simple. But, if you are having foot problems, if you're having trouble, if your feet hurt, what's preventing you from moving forward? What does that tell you? And then again, a lot of this, we probably don't even have to tell Pisces moons any of this because they already know it.
Mm-hmm.
You will understand the difference between um, head brain, emotions, and gut brain. And sometimes the hardest thing to distinguish between are the emotions and the gut brain. Just because something feels good does not mean that it is actually right for you.
And I think Pisces moons, sort of like the Libra moons, you can take it on for everybody else too. So, you've
Good.
got that I am one with everyone kind of thing going on. Stand on your own 2 feet first. Feel into yourself first
Mhm.
before you take on everybody else's, right? Make sure you know where your emotional expression is and where the others around you, their expression is. Where's that boundary line? You don't
Mhm.
have to own everybody else's pain and suffering. You can have compassion for it, but you don't have to own it. I think Pisces moon's emotions can be blurry.
Mhm.
So that is all of our natal moons. And we're getting down to just over an hour. So what I wanted to do, yeah, perfect. Boy, you read my mind, darling. You were intuiting into what I was just going to say. Um, my name is Julie, and I have a problem. I have a new cards.
Yet another tarot.
I got a lot of Mercury in my chart. Just putting it out there. Anyway, the Moon Goddess Oracle. And this particular deck, she breaks it down into cards for the seasons, cards for the lunar cycles, or lunar phases, and then cards for goddesses. So what I did, in the interest of brevity, is I took the card for the new moon, which is activation, and briefly, the inspiration, if you will, is hope, creation, getting clearer on what you want, creativity, greater awareness of your desires. That can go with your emotional desires too, that gut health. Rose petals and thyme are good to work with during this new moon. And the mantra, I am learning to choose myself and my joy. That comes from within. And if you choose yourself, Leo, you can express yourself from a place of joy. So again, look at, and the word is activation, new moon, of course, getting ready to activate the new cycle. And then the goddess, there's a number of the goddesses that correlate to different moon phases, and I picked Hina Hine, and I might be butchering, and I'm sorry for those of you who may have an affiliation to Polynesian goddesses, and it's connection. Connection to ourself, the individual, and we learn how to express ourselves when we connect, and then we can have a greater connection to everyone else. And the totems for her are shells, driftwood, herbs, flowers, and plant medicine. And her mantra, I am learning to surrender more deeply and find my inner calm. And that all goes to the gut brain, the gut health, right? The instinctive piece. Yep. I surrender, I receive, I listen, and then I have inner peace. So there you all have it. There's our new moon. I hope all of this was useful and helpful. Again, disclaimer, we are not practitioners. You all just take this information and do with it as you wish.
But we're not medical doctors. I mean, we are, practice something, but it ain't.
This is not medical advice. Yes. Right. So you take the information, do with it as you wish, and you consult with your own professionals as you see fit. We take no responsibility or liability for that. Okay, there's all our little legal disclaimer crap. But we will have a full moon starting the eclipse cycle coming up, I believe, September 17th. So we'll probably get something out before then to let y'all know when we're gonna join up again. We got some big stuff coming here.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna throw a little out there. We've been talking, we did a little roundtable discussion, but Maria and I have continued the conversation about the whole concept of the dispositors, or as known as rulers. Mercury traditionally is the ruler or dispositor of Virgo, and Libra is ruled or has the dispositor of Venus. And we've been talking about the switch in that.
Yes.
So I would love if you put in the comments here, or you put on our Radical Astrology, or when we post the replay, what are your thoughts about that? Because I'd like to continue this discussion. I think there's a lot out there
I do too.
We're rediscovering.
I do too. I think that there's really something to. I think there's a reason why so many of us have sort of stumbled on this intuitively at the same time. Because, this is something a lot of us have been talking about for a few months. It's like, Mercury just does not feel right as the dispositor of Virgo. That pairing just doesn't feel right anymore. Right. Where he does feel much better paired with Libra. I mean, at least from my perspective, feels so much better paired with Libra. And Venus feels so much better paired with Virgo.
And Venus just ingressed into Virgo not too long ago. So yes. Into that. How are you experiencing that personally? How is that sense of Venus and her values and relationships and your five senses and beauty and art correlating to the energy of Virgo? How does that feel? Go with that gut. Does it now? Granted, it says that she's in fall in Virgo, but go with the gut. So she's going to be there a little while. Yeah. So just I think till October sometime. So hold on to that and just really feel into that. What do I value in the stars of Virgo?
Yeah. How is this actually coming through for me? What are the feelings and experiences that I am getting as Venus actual is in Virgo actual,
Hmm.
right? How are those two energies aligning? How am I sensing that? How is that happening? What am I getting out of that? Yes, we'll be our own experimenters. You know,
And
because again, we're with all due respect to tropical, and I don't want to diss it so much, but it, it hasn't, the stars haven't actually been in the places that they're working from for 2,000 years.
yep.
We're we're working with a new sky in many, many ways. So we've got this system that
Hmm.
we've all learned. That we're now applying to what is almost a brand new sky. At least it's an entire sign off
Hmm.
of what it was. And so I think there's going to be more than just that changes through this, that we relearn,
Yep.
and
Remember.
relearn and remember.
I
Yeah,
really
I
think it's
completely agree.
remember. There's something there that tells me this isn't the way it used to be.
Yeah.
And I could be wrong. So I would invite people to think about, just tune into that. Maybe make a couple of notes here and there. How does this Venus in Virgo feel for you? And then when Mercury ingresses into Virgo later, let's see what that feels like and do a
Mhm.
comparison. I think it
Mhm.
would be really interesting to do a little experiment and nothing super formal, just kind of tune in. Venus can also bring a lot of is in Virgo, there can be a lot of unrealized expectations in relationships. That is, I think, where the challenging energy might be. But at the other side of it, how do you serve you and serve others from a place of value?
Well, that's it. You know, Venus in Virgo is willing to do the work that it takes to make something come to manifestation, right? To
Yep.
get the good harvest. Venus
Mm-hmm.
in Virgo is willing to do the work.
Yep.
So it might feel hard because she's in there with her sleeves rolled up and her hands in the mud,
Right.
right?
Right.
So yeah, there's and I don't think it speaks ill at all or is any disrespect to be just revisiting all of these sort of things as we've kept once you learn sort of key words, once you tune into individual planets, individual constellations, even individual stars, and learn their sort of key
Energy.
energies,
Mm-hmm.
then you can put them together.
Well, I mean,
You know?
and look at the
And
whole
then yeah.
the whole concept of the transpersonal planets being discovered. Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, they didn't rule the stars of Aquarius, Pisces, and Scorpio before they were discovered,
We
but
didn't know
people
we were
said
there.
that
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. So, we did not know they were there 2,000 years ago. We couldn't see them. So
right.
obviously this will have to have changed some since then. Not only just even not accounting for precession. So at any rate, yeah.
Room for change. Again, Pluto, retrograde, Sagittarius. What do you believe? It's time to re-transform, retrograde, what we believe. So I just invite you to consider it. It's up to you. So on that note, happy new moon, everybody. Any last words? Again, yourbesthopeswc.com for me. And where do we find you?
Vian at Venus13.com or Maria's Daily Charts on Patreon.
Yes, yes. All right, we'll see you all in the cyber world.